Welcome, guys. Welcome, Summoners. We're here, Grand Finals, SKL Season 1.
Hi.
Yeah, it's Peter Crafty Buckeye McKay, joined by Bailey Ponux Dietrich.
Hey, guys. So today we're going to have the Grand Finals kicking off with Vicious and Delicious taking on the Thunderducks. Thunderducks coming into this whole thing as a third seed. They weren't even the top two coming out of the regular season there. We actually had Notice Me Senpai, which Thunderducks took down in a very hyped up semifinal match last night.
Two of them. Two hyped up semifinals.
Yeah, like they were super intense.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you guys would have caught the first series that happened with Vicious and Delicious versus Fellowship of the Nerds, but that one that was very reminiscent of some Fnatic versus OMG at Worlds 2014, where we had Vicious and Delicious just taking down the Nexus. It got around to 500 HP, and then all of a sudden they got aced, and then turned around, and then Fellowship of the Nerds ended up coming back and winning. Couldn't quite pull it out in Game 3, though. Vicious and Delicious was able to come back from a very big deficit, and then they ended up pulling the series off there. So, yeah. Very exciting.
That's some fun League of Legends to watch there. And I don't expect nothing less today.
No, yeah, because both these teams, like the style of game that they play is extremely aggressive. Like they like to make big plays. Like to Freakers for Vicious and Delicious, he's an extremely gank-heavy jungler. He likes to play champions like Zac, stuff like that has a lot of early pressure, and he just continually ganks. Like versus their series of Fellowship of the Nerds, he just had like 3 kills before the 10-minute mark. Just as Zac, which is insane. He just is so gank heavy. And then on the flip side, you have Thunderducks with Metaphor, and he's all about going at like even though you don't see Rengar or Nocturne in the meta or anything like that, that's all he plays.
That's all he plays, and it's so fun to watch. But you also see them play first time a different style comp, and it was so fun to watch. Even though you don't expect it, it's like, wow, this team can play a different comp, they can play a different style, and maybe we'll see something new from them even today. I wouldn't be surprised if we see, maybe not out of Mundo, but something new that we haven't seen out of Metaphor, something new, maybe another Pulses carry game, which was so fun to watch, actually, even though we trash him, we love to troll him, but he's a good player, we know that, and they played a different comp and it worked.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, normally you see this jungle carry style from Metaphor. He plays the Nocturne, the Rengar, and just focuses so hard on getting himself fed. Yesterday, Game 3 of the series, do or die at that point, and he picks Mundo jungle and completely changes his style. Goes for a huge just frontline threat there, and it doesn't really build any damage besides just the fact that he's Mundo, right? It goes for that challenging smite, and then just the amount of burn damage that he gets. He was able to chase down Team Maya in that mid lane and just completely abuse it. So it was a very different style, and so if they can keep pulling out surprise pocket picks like that, they might definitely throw Vicious and Delicious for a loop.
Something I'd like to point out is that the fact that Ashe had such a high priority yesterday. 5 out of 6 games Ashe was played, and even first picked in 3 or 2 of the games, which is like, will that happen today? I'm not sure. I could see the priority coming out of even Vicious and Delicious, just because we know how much Thunderducks like to play that Ashe Braum bot lane. But it's interesting to note like what kind of style comps will be prioritized into Game 1 here.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think the teams, it was such a high priority because it offered such great engage, and all these teams that we had in the semifinals and the finals today, they're all very focused on team fights. And so having that great engage, it really enabled all these teams to get the priority picks they did need, and then they were able to capitalize on that, get some great objectives. Like in the games, I think Thunderducks, they were able to get 2. I guess they could have been they would have been considered another Baron, but there was that amazing Thresh hook steal at the end of the game there. Team it was
Impressive boy
on the Thresh was able to throw in the hook there and get the Baron steal, which was huge. Didn't quite swing it back in their favor in that Game 3 there. I mean, there was a pretty big lead for Thunderducks at that point, but it was still pretty clutch play.
It was clutch, and it's one of those almost MVP-esque moments, right?
You almost thinking about an MVP.
Oh, are we talking MVP? We got ourselves an MVP trophy right here. MVP right here. And that's going to be announced at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it's sponsored by
the Mana Bar.
With love from the Mana Bar. Yeah, exactly. Sick trophy. Also comes with a pretty snazzy little keyboard, but
So yeah, fantastic prizing coming in for this one here. I mean, there is going to be like a first place trophy, but yeah, at the end of the 5-game series here, we are going to announce the MVP that is going to be kind of picked out by the administration, stuff like that. The casters, we're all going to kind of collaborate and feel like who had the most impact. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the winning team, but just who really brought the most to the Rift today as we're going into this big hyped up match coming to this one.
Who can you see, if you pick one player from each team, who would you pick as your MVP from yesterday?
From yesterday?
Yeah.
Out of the 2 teams that are in the finals?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was tough. Both teams, they brought a lot. And for Vicious and Delicious, I would have to say to Freakers, he did so much work in the jungle, but the bot lane was also so strong, and Mo Money had so many clutch taunts. He played the Shen support.
That's something I could see prioritized.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a very strong pick, especially for Vicious and Delicious. It offers them a lot of pressure going into the game there, and it gives them a lot of engage tools with that Shen, which is something that they really like to have, especially if the Ashe does get taken away in those earlier parts of the game. But I mean, also for Thunderducks, I mean, Metaphor. I mean, you can't stop talking about Metaphor. But on the flip side, Panda 210 played unreal. Yeah, he had Rise, and he just put his carry pants on and was just soloing the laner so much. So as far as that goes, I think that's for me.
And my picks, I think for Thunderducks, I'm gonna give it to Pulsus. He played real well. We trashed him. he got real fed. Carried his team, I think. Even in the last game, Metaphor wasn't there to carry the damage. He did all the damage. I loved it. And for the Vicious and Delicious, probably to Freakers. Zach's fun to watch.
I love watching Zach. I mean, he can just hide in the brush and just gets those humongous engages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But do you want to call that now? We're going to end that. We're going to be back with game number 1 after a quick ad.
Yeah. We'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned.
And welcome back, everybody. We will be your casters for today. My name is Kevin Big Booty Bodie. To my left here, I've got Blake Dezaninator Zanadine.
Hello.
And Carter Silky Mittens Asselford.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, guys?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing, Big Booty?
Oh, I'm ready for a great match today.
Man, I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
The game's
so
yesterday.
hyped. So we're going to get right into picks and bans here between Vicious and Delicious on blue side for the first game and Thunderducks on red side. So get into picks and bans here. What do you think they're going to target? Or do you think we're going to see a Dr. Mundo ban come out?
I don't think so.
Well, it looks like early Vicious and Delicious is going to target Metaphor, actually, with that Nocturne pick. And Lulu for the Thunderducks is their first ban.
Interesting. Of course, Lulu, generally a strong champion, a good flex pick.
Definitely. It was kind of interesting kind of seeing if Vicious and Delicious would go after Metaphor or go after Panda and Taeyang, and it looks like a bit of both worlds here as Fiora coming in as a second ban. Not a Gnar like we're used to seeing, or Riven maybe against Panda, but just a generally strong champion like Fiora. It's fine to get that out of the way. And to Freakers, getting some respect here.
Yeah, I think that respect is definitely warranted. We've seen the disgusting things he can do on that Zac. That's that big pink blob.
I mean, he did lose on it yesterday, so the guy's not immortal on Zac, but it is definitely a respectable ban. That guy's a beast. I'm kind of surprised, though, that Vicious and Delicious are banning Fiora. If Panda, I haven't seen Panda play it much, and if he does play Riven, Fiora's kind of a crappy matchup, so you wouldn't want to pick it anyways. But taking away from him, the Victor going towards Taeyang, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. He's pretty proficient on that champion. Definitely one of his favorites. I think it's one of the most champions we've seen him, or one of the champions we've seen him play most.
Yeah, definitely his most played champion all through the SKL regular season here. As we have 9 seconds left for Thunderducks to decide what they want to ban against Vicious and Delicious, which, as we've seen, can be one of the hardest things to do against this team. They're deep champion pools in every single lane.
There it is. We get the Shen ban coming in last. We saw that a lot yesterday out of Mo Money, and he was very effective on it. Still a very strong champion, and is something that can also be flexed.
Yeah, definitely
which is
proficient.
always dangerous.
Definitely proficient at those flash taunts.
I was going to say, there's no bans this game going towards Poof, and they've pretty much opened his champ pool. Gangplank, I'm pretty sure, was perma-banned yesterday. He didn't get to play it once, and he's a monster on that champion. Yeah, you've seen the guy do everything. He's like single-handedly carried games. He's stolen Barons, takes objectives. He's a monster on that, but they might prioritize the Kindred, and they do pick that up for Freakers.
Yeah, we saw them pick this game 1, and it was absolutely devastating for them in that series. And after that, it was banned the rest of the series, and obviously warranted. That champion is just stupid strong. Vicious and Delicious themselves banned it when they were on the red side. Just didn't want to give that over to Fellowship of the Nerds. Definitely warranted. And look at this first rotation from Thunderducks.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. I know we were talking yesterday. There's no surprise here when they pick up these kind of champions, Braum and Ashe or Braum and Sivir, But first rotation here. this is pretty early for these guys, I think.
Yeah, well, maybe just not wanting to show their hand yet. I'm sure Vicious and Delicious was probably expecting that to come out, so why pick maybe something, if you're going to do something unique or different, why pick it first? Just go with what you know you're going to do.
And the thing is, last time we saw Vicious and Delicious play Thunderducks, they actually banned the Ash away from Pulses, and we're trying to force him onto that Sivir. This time they gave him the option. He actually still chooses that Sivir, where he wouldn't take it last time.
Maybe after that really strong showing on Sivir yesterday, where he is able to carry his team, not for once, but he doesn't usually carry. But yesterday he got the chance to. Metaphor playing a more tanky, supportive style jungler, and Pulse is saying, guys, I can carry too. And Bakery Boy going to counter that with Pulse's other favorite champion, Ash here.
Yeah, as Crafty Buckeye was saying in their little intro there, that Ash is something that has been prioritized. We know it's a champion that Vicious and Delicious like to play in their team comps. Usually it's our boy Formally playing it, but they've got Durka in for the finals. So good to see that he can also play the champion that they like having in their team comps.
Yeah, absolutely here. And, a blessing for Putha Sheep. They would be able to pick up Gangplank here.
Yeah.
Second rotation on blue side.
That's underrated.
Yeah, very well. If Thunderdogs are going to put so much priority on their bot lane here, their favorite kind of picks, that leaves a lot open. There's still so many picks open here for Vicious and Delicious, and they just take the pick of the litter.
The hover so far, they do lock in the rise, and the Fiddlesticks. Metaphor's main. He's bringing it out. He's gonna ka everywhere, man. And I mean the Panda rise pick. We saw him play it yesterday. It's so strong. GP can use the orange to get out of that snare, but I think Rise is a disgustingly broken champion. So I'm gonna see if Vicious and Delicious are prepared to deal with that champion.
Right, I think Gangplank will have a lot of success against it. It'll be able to cleanse most of the rune prisons, but I mean, that's on like a 2-second cooldown when you're ulting and hitting your passive.
Can only orange so often. So.
Exactly, true. But I think, Gangplank has a lot of range to his kit too with his barrel, so I think that won't be a terrible matchup in lane for him. But you know what? Metaphor loves to go top lane, so we're probably going to see that a lot. And bring out the Fiddlesticks. The thing is, I think that Vicious and Delicious is a really smart team, and I'm not sure that Metaphor has played, the champs like Fiddlesticks against this really smart team in Vicious and Delicious.
I think warding is going to be key. Whenever you play against the Fiddlesticks, you need to make sure you have those aggressive wards and those deep jungle wards. If you can see him from the opportunity spots where he's going to try and use the Crowstorm over the wall, best place to do it. However, though, Thunderducks are very good at pinking those bushes to make sure they can allow Metaphor to get in those back bushes and get successful ganks off. So it's going to be very important. That vision game is going to be huge. And with the Freakers playing Kindred, I would not be surprised to see him invading a lot, as Kindred has a lot of really good early strength in that jungle.
Yeah, it'll be a battle in the trenches for Vision for sure. And the last two picks here for Vicious and Delicious are going to be the Alistar on Mo Money. We saw that yesterday. And now Bakery Boy going to bring out Twisted Fate. How do you like these picks rounding out the competition for Vicious and Delicious?
I really enjoy Vicious and Delicious comp. It's another one of those permalock CC type deals. You land the long range arrow, you can follow him with the Gangplank ult, but they have a lot of lockdown and it gives those stacks. But we see a Yasuo pickup from Taeyang, and I gotta say, I don't think we've seen him play this yet, but the Yasuo Braum combo is gonna be deadly. On top of the Fiddlestick standing in there, this is gonna be very scary. You can knock people up, keep them up there with the last breath, and you can basically hold them in that Crowstorm for a solid 2 to 3 seconds of not moving. Then they have to retreat. Team fighting is the name of the game, I think, here, boys.
Yeah, and Panda will be in there throwing spells left and right, just basically every second here. Such short cooldowns, and I'm really loving the look of this game so far, Big Booty.
Yeah, well then Pulsus will just be in there doing Sivir things,
Exactly, just stands back throwing a boomerang around.
And Braum throwing up that unbreakable shield when he needs to, and it's looking good.
It's shaping up to be an exciting one. Just looking at both of these compositions, let's go down the line here. Let's see what you guys think. Who are you going to give the edge to? Just looking at these compositions going into game one.
It's going to be very scary. There's a lot of global presence coming up from Vicious and Delicious. They've got a global ulti from Gangplank. He also has a teleport coming in from Poof. We have Bakery Boy on that TF. You've got Destiny that lets you roam. Doesn't have the range of TP, but he's also bringing TP with him. So the guy's going to be all over the map. Top laner's going to be going all over. I think if they play the global game correctly, it's going to be hard for Thunderducks to find those team fights. But you get those early ganks that Metaphor is pretty much known for. could easily snowball this game into a victory.
Yeah, I feel like the tables may have been turned a little bit onto Vicious and Delicious here with the last few picks for the Thunderducks.
Yeah.
That Fiddlesticks coming in, you're not going to want to run into that one, and that's kind of what they had. The TF, wanting the global pressure, and the Ash with the long range engage, but you might want to be using that for disengage now.
The great thing actually is Yasuo into TF is so much in favor of Yasuo. You can win wild cards, you can win wild pick a card. Plus, once you get that static ship, you can clear waves so fast that he shouldn't be able to roam a lot. I mean, you can TP, but you're not going to be able to find those ulti plays that he's usually able to have against other mid laners that can't wave clear as well as Yasuo. But bringing in that exhaust, he's going to be looking for those early lane kills.
So you're giving the edge to Thunderducks here, or
it's so tough. It's so dependent on the early game and how it goes with the ganks. I'm gonna say going into the late game though, I'm gonna give the advantage towards Vicious and Delicious, having that global pressure with the double TP, the TF ult, and a lot of global ultis.
Yeah, I think the early game is going to be huge. They need to get ahead here. They can't, stick around and just be even or behind going into this kind of wombo combo from the Thunderducks. A wombo combo composition is something that can always come back, even if you're behind. So you can't give it a chance. You got to snowball early and get to other lanes as TF. And, try your best not to die to Yasuo. And Metaphor, I have a feeling, will be visiting that mid lane quite often.
I think that's going to be a very high. You definitely have to try and get Taeyang going. That's going to be crucial. But I'm personally going to be looking towards that top lane because Panda's been getting really far ahead on that rise. And once you get that champion ahead, you start building your tier. You get the catalyst going. You have so much damage and so much mana, and once you get that combo, you can just permanently CC someone. Yes, you can orange it with Gangplank, but as long as you're landing your spells, your snare should be up fast enough. GP does have that global ulti, can get assists from afar, but I think as far as laning phase goes, it's going to depend how Poof can use those barrels, but that guy's a monster, so I think my matchup to watch is definitely in the top lane.
Yeah, Big Booty, where do you feel the focus is going to be on for either of these teams going into this one?
I would go with the top lane as well. These are two teams that, if you wanted to pick an MVP for either team, I mean, all members of both teams are very strong. But like you were saying earlier, Poof the Sheep, we've seen him carry games on Gangplank, on other champions, on Nars, stuff like that. But then also Panda, he does this thing up there. Ryze is such a strong champion right now. If you saw Worlds, you saw the disgusting things that Faker was doing on it in the mid lane. But you put him in the top lane, and that's where I would have went as well. And both junglers are going to be looking to go there, I think, in the early game. Use some of those, get that kill pressure from Kindred in the early game. But then you got Metaphor as well on the main that I don't think we've seen him. We have seen him play it once or twice in SKL, but it's been a while.
It's been a very long time. I have to agree. How do you think that matchup kind of goes with the Kindred in the jungle here for Vicious and Delicious into the Fiddlesticks?
It's going to be very scary. Metaphor's going to have to be very cautious of going into his own jungle because Kindred is so strong early where Fiddlesticks not as much. But I mean, as we load into this game, guys, we are here with Vicious and Delicious. Woo! Game 1 versus Thunderducks on the blue side. We do have Vicious and Delicious with Poof the Sheep in the top lane on that Gangplank. We've got Tafreakers bringing out the Kindred in the jungle. Big Free Boy on TF in the mid lane, and Durka and Mo Money rounding out that bot lane with Ash and Alistair at AD carry and support.
And on the red side, it is going to be the Thunderducks. Panda 210 in the top lane playing Ryze. Metaphor in the jungle playing Fiddlesticks. Taeyang going to bring out Yasuo in the mid lane as we get a pause here. Pulsis in the bot lane bringing out Sivir. And Debmaster J on that Braum. Something we've seen a lot from him.
Are you sure? I thought he was actually a Lulu
first
support
time.
main.
Right.
Yeah, first time Braum.
I mean, Braum has been a pretty solid champion, and we've seen how good he is against engaged type comps. Mm-hmm. Not that they they do a little bit, I guess, with the TF coming in. It's going to be really hard to predict with that Glacial Fresher. Be like, okay, Destiny's coming here, knock him up. But I mean, Chaw's good Braum yesterday, unreal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a strong champion. I don't think it's fallen out of favor at all this season. No. Braum has been such a consistent pick. And same with Alistair. Both of them very tanky. They don't need a lot of stats to be successful. And they have just a lot of engage and a lot of CC.
Yeah, I think that something to point out here is a lot of a couple different picks here. Yasuo, for the first time, we've never seen Taeyang play this at all. Even in, I don't think the qualifiers he played this one.
Not that I recall.
Yeah, I cannot recall him playing it at all, actually.
But maybe he's like Metaphor. He's got that secret Yasuo-only account in Challenger somewhere. and just
He was
nonstop plays on
hiding
that.
it just for this.
Hide it just for this. Well,
Yeah.
you never know. This is the time to bring it out.
Yeah, why not?
You've got nothing left to lose. So if you've got something hidden, just bring it out. And we saw it with the Mundo yesterday, and we were criticizing it. But you know what? Notice Me Senpai didn't know how to play against it, and Metaphor brought it out to great success.
Now, do you think maybe that was something Thunderducks were wanting to save till the finals, but then kind of maybe they saw, okay, you know what? We got to make it to the finals first, so let's just bring this out now. Do you think maybe they didn't want to show their hand that early?
I don't think they're afraid of showing that one because you know what? If the other team wants to ban it or try and play against it or prepare for it, I think that's just lost time for the
fair
other
enough.
team. Honestly, Mundo is something that can work in certain situations. You know, the other team had a lot of CC. Metaphor was pointing out to me earlier today. He just picked it so much tenacity on his Burning Agony there. While he's got that going. And Mertrex, he was just unstoppable, and CC couldn't stop that guy. And so it's kind of like a situational thing, but you know what? I don't think he's afraid of showing it that early.
I like the fact that they are actually pulling out this Yasuo in game 1 because
also bold.
It's in a best of 5. Bring out that pocket pick you want to try because if it doesn't work, all right, you still have 4 games. Pull it back together.
Still got Old Faithful picks and stuff.
Exactly, and if it is successful, you might catch them off guard, like, whoa, Taeyang on Yasuo. I'm surprised. Maybe Vicious and Delicious didn't expect it. If it is successful, well, maybe they start pulling a ban on that Yasuo, and then you start opening up that Victor, so he's back on his comfort champions.
Yeah,
That's the thing about Thunderducks is that there's so many things you can try and ban. You could, and it was interesting of Vicious and Delicious. Instead of targeting one member of Thunderducks, they kind of went one for each. They took Victor from Taeyang, Fiora from Panda, and Nocturne from Metaphor, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like it should be kind of an all or none thing. Like,
go for one person.
yeah, go all in. They've taken some half measures, like, oh, we'll just ban one of each, but like you might just want to go all in. Pick one person where maybe you think you have your strongest matchup or advantage, and then go all in on that person.
So I guess the message that Vicious and Delicious is trying to send us is that they think all their matchups are advantageous for them or something.
Fair enough.
Maybe that's how they feel about it.
That could be it.
Yeah.
That could be it.
So who would you go for then? Would you? I know I don't want you to like throw someone under the bus here, but who would you go for? Would you go for Tang in the mid lane, ban out like Ari, Victor, Oriana, or
I feel like
and pick
it's
TF?
tough. Maybe fair enough.
That's like all four
maybe
of his
the
main
maybe the
champions.
top lane. Yeah, because you have Fiora, you could take. I feel like against Panda, you could easily justify banning Fiora, Gangplank, and Gnar. And
But then Riven's there too as well.
Well, I'm
gonna step in.
Yeah.
I think, guys,
tough.
it's hard to say, but I think Metaphor is really the catalyst for this team. He's the one who he goes to the ganks, or the lanes. He ganks, he gets those lanes going. Not saying they need that, but he's really the one who's like, all right, team, let's get going. They don't really rely on their solo laners. Okay, play super aggressive, get going, get your own solo kills. I'm gonna farm. Do have the pods, is with player connections. Hopefully going to get that figured out here soon. But I think Metaphor, not sure if banning all 3 against him is worth it. We've seen teams try and he still pulls something out.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mundo, never seen him play
who
it.
would have
Like,
thought to ban that before it came out?
Exactly.
Absolutely no one, exactly. I think he just proved to us that his champion pool is a lot deeper than just these high intensity, hyper aggressive junglers like Lee Sin, Rengar, Nocturne.
And
He
he's
can
got
play
the
anything.
Fiddlesticks.
now.
I think that's something that
and
people kind of,
Hecarim.
like we were saying, I think that's something people kind of forgot about because we
Was
hadn't seen it in a
Fiddlesticks.
long time. Because I remember in qualifiers in early season, he was getting it banned against him consistently. But then it just kind of stopped because he stopped playing and was using those other picks like Nocturne, Rengar, stuff like that. But you forgot it, and then it comes back out, and it's his main. So
And the thing is, Fiddlesticks, he's brought it out a couple times this season, and they've had good success with it. But I feel like the teams he played it against never warded properly, and they always gave him the engages he wanted. There was times where he would run around, hide in the Raptor camp, wait for the team to walk up, ult over the wall, decimate the team. But you need to have vision on those spots.
absolutely.
You can't look for an engage if you don't know where that Fiddlesticks is. It's so important to know where he is at all times. But this is where I want to emphasize, I think this jungle matchup is going to be huge because Kindred, we've seen it. They're so good invading. DXI Edge invaded really early that day. He got very far ahead with that. To Freakers, he's been invading. You get those stacks, but you also deny. And Fiddlesticks, yeah, he can sit there and drain, but
He might be dead before that.
once that happens, yeah, is it just help me out? Kindred's E. I never remember. It's Dance of Arrows, Wolf's Frenzy, and
Lamb's Respite?
yes,
No.
something like that.
I think that is it the ultimate. I
can't remember. Anyways, that 3 stack does so much damage level 2. Like, it does like a third to a quarter of your health if you get all 3 of those stacks. You find someone doing a jungle camp that's at about half health, quarter health, they're dead. Right? Like, and you can just sneak up on them. And once you have the Wolf's Frenzy, you can use Dance of Arrows so often. You're so mobile with that champion. So if they don't ward up for Metaphor and keep him safe in that jungle, I feel like Tafreakers could really gain control of this game.
Yeah. I think that'll be one of the bigger matchups. I think besides the top lane, it'll be the jungle. It'll be up to both the junglers to see who can out-gank the other, basically. They both love to gank. They both love to put a lot of pressure in pretty much every lane. I don't think we see them just pick one lane and camp. Their Metaphor may be a little bit more towards the top lane, likes to get Panda going instead of the bot lane or mid lane, but it's anyone's guess where he goes with this Fiddlesticks this game.
We have word from our researchers here that the Kindred's E is... what was it? Mounted Dread.
Mounting Dread, right?
Mounted Dread.
Lancer Spite, I believe, is ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, you got her. I believe in you. It's all
Threw
good.
me under the bus.
Throw him on there.
Just kidding.
I can't remember it. Silky, make sure you know what he's talking about.
It's all up to you.
Yeah.
That's
But
okay.
I mean, going forward, we've also seen from Metaphor Fiddlesticks though, grab this red buff, directly try and go steal that buff. So yeah, he's one of those kind of ballsy Fiddlesticks players that just like, you know what, yeah, I can invade. I'm Fiddlesticks. So if he goes for the counter invade as well, you might just see swap of buffs, go forth, switch around. But I'm very anticipating. This early game is going to speak a lot for the teams, but the team fight comp coming from Thunder Ducks I think is very important because that is, we talked yesterday about, well, in products I guess, about sticking to your guns. Thunder Ducks is a very good team fighting comp. That's why they run Sivir. You get the utility for your team. Victor, very good team fighting character. Taeyang, very good at it. So sticking with that Yasuo, Braum, Fiddlesticks, you have that team fighting potential. That's what they're going to stick to. You know what? Fellowship of the Nerds did really good against Vicious and Delicious yesterday playing the global game. But that is what Fellowship of the Nerds is good at. So stick with your guns, go on a team, because trying to adapt to some other team's strategy may not always work for you and pull out a win.
Right, Vicious and Delicious, a really smart team too, so I think they can pull out the global strat this game and really get ahead early. I think Bakery Boy is going to do really well in this TF. He's got the exhaust to try and keep Taeyang down, and on the other side, Taeyang with the exhaust as well, trying to slow Bakery Boy down and try and kill him. They're just not going to do any damage to each other just because they're both exhausted, but you know what?
And we're finally back in game here, everybody. I'm hyped after that little break, but I'm ready to Marvin Gaye and get it on.
I love it. Thank you. I actually,
Thank you, Charlie.
Of all the things you've done, I appreciate that one the most. The puns and all that just made up for everything.
I think really interesting to note here, Tafreakers has marked Metaphor as his first victim, whether he's going to invade or not.
Calling him out.
Well, you might be calling him out, or it might just be bluffing too. That's the game that you got to play with Kindred's passive.
But honestly, this is what I mean. I think marking the jungler first is smart. If you're going to invade, just mark the jungler. If you do find him and kill him, that's a free stack.
Or try and stop Metaphor from maybe coming into his own jungle, right? If there's a chance that Tafreak is able to get that kill on Metaphor, that's already a percent current health. If you get that stack this early, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, you're right. That logically, I think just at level 1, that would make the most sense to mark the other jungler. That's probably most likely who you would run into, just based on doing camps, or you're probably not going to do that early of a gank. So just mark the jungler, and then once you hit level 2, maybe get an eye on someone else.
Oh, exactly. And I'm not even 100% sure how often you can remark someone. I've only played Kindred in that one for all that we did, but I'm pretty sure there's a certain amount of time before you can switch.
Grom!
But yeah, we do see the Grom start, and this is actually interesting. Usually doing the double jungle coming out from Thunder Ducks, but opting not to do it this game.
Yeah, after you kill someone with Kindred's passive, you have to pick someone new, and if you don't kill them after a certain amount of time, you still have to pick someone new. And if you keep marking the same person over and over again, there's a bit of a cooldown there. You have to wait quite a while before you can remark that person again.
Yeah, this mid lane matchup I am looking forward to. I really hope Taeyang doesn't take the TP. He goes with the exhaust. So I am honestly thinking he's probably going to go for a level 2, level 3 kill. And once you have that Steel Tempest, you're able to just dash around with your E. It makes it really easy to close the gap, dashing through the minions. He tries to stun card you with you. You just throw the wind wall out and negates pretty much all of Twisted Fate's damage besides his auto attacks. Should be able to put it on a lot of damage, push him under his turret, and make him kind of useless in the sense of teleporting.
Yeah, I'm maybe a little bit surprised here that Taeyang took exhaust. I was maybe expecting, I was either thinking, exhaust or ignite or teleport just to counter Bakery Boy's destiny there and just counter the global aggression with the teleport of his own. And I don't think Bakery Boy can afford to take both teleport and have his ultimate. So a little bit surprised there, but you know what? Taeyang wants the kills.
Hey, and that's exactly right. But the ignite, you see a lot of Yasuo's bring exhaust, but it's usually into like Zed matchups where you're going to be against other assassins that you can't really help blocking their damage. But in this Twisted Fate matchup, I'm not a Yasuo man, so I'm not going to critique him. But I'm just saying, I think I agree with you. It's kind of interesting that he decided to go for this exhaust. But maybe it's just in case he runs into Kindred or Ashe later on in the game. You exhaust the targets you're going to go for in the back lane, so they can't get away as fast. You drop their MR and armor. Yeah, let's do a little bit of damage here, but in the top lane, pretty even so far. It looks like actually a pretty big wave pushing in towards Poof as he's ahead in CS right now, so definitely going to work towards it, but Tafreakers has come top.
Tafreakers coming to the top lane. Panda forced to flash out. They're throwing damage out. Tafreakers doing a lot of damage, very low, but looks like Panda will survive.
I'm not actually sure why Tafreakers let up there. He could have stayed a little bit longer.
Had flash.
He wasn't any trouble there. He wasn't near the turret. He wasn't taking any damage. If he would have stuck around, I bet you he could have got a kill there.
And he had red buff as well, so he's going to be able to slow Panda continuously. But putting down pressure, it should be an easy enough regank. They have good wards. They have the river pink warded. They have a ward in the tri-brush, so not going to let Metaphor come through there, but they do meet in the river here.
Yeah, the two junglers here dancing in the river. But looks like not much will come of it as now they're trading in the bot lane. That unbreakable shield from Devmaster J is up, gets knocked up by Mo Money. Mo Money healing everyone around him. And now Pulsus looks like we'll just try and back out. Volley comes out from Dirka, but it's not going to be enough. But trade going in favor of Vicious and Delicious there.
Yeah, it looks like Thunderduck's tunneled a little bit on Dirka there, trying to pop the stacks, the concussive blows. Mo Money just doing CC, headbutting Devmaster J into the wall, and then pulverizing both of them. But Tafreakers back in the top lane.
As we expected, Tafreakers didn't go far before returning here to the top lane. And first blood in game 1 of the finals goes over to Tafreakers on that Kindred.
Yeah, breaking the ice.
Yeah.
On the Kindred.
But not quite getting a stack there. I don't think he had TD Panda, but that's what we said. You have to capitalize on the advantages you get. Going top, blowing that flash, immediately returns, goes up there, secure a kill. That's what's very important as a jungler with Kindred being so mobile. Wouldn't be surprised to see Kindred maybe head up to that mid lane, get Bakery Boy getting a little far ahead, try and put Taeyang down so he's able to roam a little more. Oh, I didn't even notice. He switched to exhaust last second on Bakery Boy. How did I not see that?
I don't know.
I thought you would brought that
You got
up.
your glasses on?
Yeah.
It's okay.
your glasses,
I do want to
chat.
point out that Taeyang maybe most likely taking exhaust for Tafreakers on the Kindred. Kindred, the most slippery champion in the game right now, I would say.
But Mo Money knocking back the Thunderducks bot lane here as they were looking to go in, but nothing doing.
It's going to be a lot of CS discrepancy here. TD maybe taking a lot of damage in that bot lane, but Pulsus and Devmaster J farming quite well. Pushing in a decent wave though in towards Dirka and Mo Money. Should be able to farm that out. But in the mid lane, we do see that already. 11 CS lead going towards Taeyang, and not much else we kind of expected. Taeyang, pretty easy matchup for that Yasuo. In the top lane though, that kill going over to Kindred, but it has given him a huge CS advantage in that top lane.
Yeah, but he does have to be always careful of the impending ganks that can come at any moment here. Tafreakers able to pump out so much damage on Kindred early, and he is returning to this bot lane now for the first time.
Yeah, interesting choice. I think we all thought here was maybe going to go mid lane, but looks like he's hanging out in the river now. But the trade in the top lane now, Panda locks up Poof the Sheep, throwing out all his abilities. Looks like will not be enough.
As we were saying, orange is definitely not going to be enough to keep you out of that perma CC. That snare is on such a short cooldown that you can get out of that first one, but if you don't dodge the other abilities, it's going to be up so fast that he's going to be able to lock you down.
Yeah, Poof the Sheep just not going to want to get into range of Panda. Panda just immediately ulting, hitting his overload passive, just going in. The cooldown's so low, like you said, just perm up CC basically. But just able to walk out of that one and spoof the sheep as there's no flash follow-up from Panda. It looks like we have a little bit of pause here, folks. It's more connectivity
Sorry
issues.
about that.
Sorry about that, but that's okay. You get to look at our beautiful faces a little bit longer.
You guys usually keep talking. That was just awkward.
I don't
I'm
know.
just sitting here showing off my
I
like
wanted to
this.
give you your moment here.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, but I gotta say,
You took my. Yeah, I had No words for your face there.
It's just so stunning. I know.
Speechless.
But I mean, that's the thing. How, guys, seriously though, how did I not know that Bakery Boy switched from TP to exhaust
I
last
thought I-
second on
I
TF?
did just mention it too.
I thought
No,
I
you
heard
said that
you
was
say.
Tae-Yang. You said that Bradford.
I said they both had TP. They both had exhaust, and they're
Yeah.
just exhausting
Okay,
each other.
you
That's
said it.
smart.
Okay,
That
yeah.
is so smart. I approve. The
That's what I
TP's
said.
so damn good, but
I was gonna say. I thought we talked about that. Like I.
guys, I must have been talking about it, and I didn't even realize what I was exactly talking about. But yeah, another connectivity issue. Making sure we're gonna get that figured out. It's the best of 5. You're in the finals. You don't want a little bit of lag to affect that play and be like, oh
True,
man, we
true.
lost because I lagged on land.
Yeah, absolutely. The
But we don't have a LAN
Lag on
server.
LAN.
Let's be real. We are running on internet, so we don't have our own tournament server. That'd be pretty sick. Though.
It's only season 1 here, Dizanator. Let's
Hey,
talk
yeah,
about
we're,
our
time out. We can shoot for the moon. If you miss, we hit the stars, right? Is that how it goes?
Madison
Wow.
Square Garden pretty soon.
Yeah,
Or the-
MSG.
Yeah.
So why do we go to MSG? This is
Or the
SKL.
Air Canada
There
Center.
we go.
We gotta get
Sastel
Sastel Center
Center,
first.
right,
Yeah, here in
right.
Saskatoon.
on.
We're not in Saskatoon.
Absolutely.
In Regina.
So,
We're in
so
Regina.
far, guys, a lot of action so far on the side of Tafreakers, just ganking a couple lanes here, making return trips to the top lane, almost going to the bot lane. I think maybe he thought it was warded, but there was no ward, so that would have been a safe gank by him. But Metaphor, not really anywhere to be seen. Maybe he's just power farming to level 6.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
what can you do as a non-level 6 level 6 for ganks? Throw Crow, try and drain. All right, see you guys. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he has to farm, but that's why I'm surprised Tiff Freakers hasn't really been invading him. But he has been picking up stacks. He's been ganking, which is good. You need to apply that early pressure. You know Fiddlesticks is just going to try and farm to 6, so make an impact on the map or go after the enemy jungler.
Right, and he's done a pretty good job, I think, of just getting to the top lane here, helping Poof a Sheep, although the last little fight there, Panda was taking it to him.
This is why I said
Yeah.
that is a disgusting champion. Like, you can just lock people down all the time, and he does an absurd amount of damage with such little items. And that's why tier is so good on him. You start stacking, the more mana you get, the more damage you do.
Right, the double scaling items, the Rod of Ages and the Tear of the Goddess can be built up. And it's the timer, the instantly you put a timer on the game, if you let it go too long, this Rod's going to get even more disgusting than he already is, without
Yeah.
those scaling items even scaling up that much.
And then you throw the Yasuo in there too as well with the game getting late. Once he gets those items, the Static Shiv, Infinity Edge, all of that.
The thing that scares me the most, you got Sivir with Rise. The guy already gets a speed boost from his ulti,
Ooh.
and now you pop that on the hunt. That guy's
Yeah.
going to be cruising.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking we're going to see probably the first team fight at Dragon. Everyone should be about 6-10. That's when the ultis come out. And I think the early team fights are going to benefit Thunderducks if they can properly line up their ultis. It's going to be very important to try and get Glacial Fissure into Last Breath while Crow storming. That's optimal, I guess. Rarely do you ever get like, oh my gosh, like you run a Wombo combo and you're like, oh, what if we hit all 5 at once? But like, how often does it happen?
Yeah, we're back into the game here. I do want to say, Metaphor doing a little bit of invading here, sitting into Freaker's jungle near that wolf camp, going to pick that one up for himself. I do want to point out here, I don't think that Vicious and Delicious are going to even attempt to go for this dragon. They might ward it up and try and like tease it, but they're not going to go for that one. That's not something they want to do this early. They don't want to be grouping up right around the level 6 power spike that Thunderducks have. They are a global pressure team. They're going to look to push the top lane. They're going to look to push the bot lane, open up the map via towers. But they're okay giving up the first couple dragons because they don't want to give up that big team fight early that really swings in Thunderduck's favor.
Yeah, with the team fighting combo, but we see Poof the Sheep getting very low here, and it's again not going to be enough. Very low. Was forced to burn his flash though, so maybe there will be a return gank, but to Freakers coming in the mid lane now, Tae-Yang gets exhausted, forced to flash, but when money comes into the knockup, Cannon Barrage going down as well, and I think this will be it for Tae-Yang as Poof the Sheep is the one to finally pick up the kill, making it 2-0 for Vicious and Delicious.
Excellent gank there and a nice roam here by Mo Money making his trip to the mid lane using the
well-timed.
ignite there. Very well timed.
Oh, but the gate, the blink, coming in from Bakery Boy, throwing cards out all over the place. But Mo Money coming back now. Flash comes out from Pulsus as Devmaster J gets knocked up. Forced to flash as well to Freakers there too. They're throwing damage out all over the place. Mo Money just throwing haymakers, and Durka picks up the kill onto Devmaster J.
Wow. Freakers and Mo Money are everywhere.
All over the place.
That was actually a really great play there. They go mid lane, they commit 4 basically people, Gangplank ulti being the 4th person there.
And look at this.
Yeah, you can't do much out of that, and this is a great play. They immediately use that global. They kill Tae-Yang. There's no pressure. Bakery Boy goes bot. Mo Money comes down. They've got 2 kills. That opens up Dragon for you, picking up that easy objective. And like we were saying, I thought the Thunderducks had the advantage going towards Dragon, but If 2 of them are dead, they can't fight.
Exactly. I was saying that Vicious Delicious wouldn't want to go towards the dragon, but if, like you said, a couple members are dead, Metaphor was literally just top, uses Crow Storm there, and his flash is gone as well. There's no chance that they're going to be able to contest this from Vicious Delicious. Freaker's going to crush that so fast. I'm not sure that Freakers has a stack yet on his, but I don't think
he does.
He doesn't have a problem with that. He does have one.
Yeah, he killed Scuttler
Probably
for sure.
from
I know he at
Jungle,
least
right?
has one.
Yeah, Taeyang's looking to deny him his next stack here, as the Scuttle in the top half of the map is going to be going down to him. And I do want to say a lot of defensive vision for both teams here. Not much offensive wards in the enemy jungle for either team. Just kind of keeping their base safe and just want to keep the status quo, it seems, for both teams.
Well, that's how actually Poopod ganked there. He didn't have a ward in the river, and Metaphor actually just ulted over the wall there. But I do like the fact that he is warding in that back tri-brush, because it's a very good spot for Fiddle Sticks. You can come across that wall, catch someone by surprise, and if he fears poof right into a snare, they should be able to pick up that kill for pretty easily. But going forward, Rise finally starting to catch back up. He's having actually a pretty decent time in that lane for even getting killed early.
Metaphor looking to make a return trip to the top lane here, get a lane gank going. He knows he can sneak into this brush unseen because he's got all the vision. Actually,
oh, the ward just got dropped actually as he made
Mo Money with another roam here to the mid lane, onto Taeyang, to Freakers there as well. Gets locked up, Cannon Barrage goes down as well, and there's another kill in the mid lane, this time going over to Bakery Boy.
This is what's so crucial. If you have a Yasuo comp, don't worry about the people. Oh.
But Metaphor now in the top lane, looking to finally get a kill here on to Poof the Sheep, and they will pick it up this time. The kill going over to Panda, and they finally pick up that kill they've been looking for onto Poof.
Turka putting down a lot of damage here, even 2v1, but that's like I was saying, you have a Yasuo comp, don't focus on things that help Yasuo synergize, focus the Yasuo, because as long as you take out the main part of the comp, the damage isn't going to be able to follow through. But Panda and Metaphor pretty much just destroy Poof. So much CC and damage there. You can lock him in the Crow Storm. That was pretty gross.
Yeah, a lot of times we saw that with Team Dignitas, one of our teams in the regular season. They love the Yasuo comps, but
those
we saw a lot of
combos.
teams just go for, I think it was Doom Teddy's fat kid there, that like to play Yasuo, right? And all teams did was shut him down. If you have a composition revolving around that big last breath ultimate from Yas, and he's 0-7, it ain't gonna do much.
I wouldn't say all the teams did, because that's the reason they made it in. They pretty much ran that team comp solid through.
Yeah,
But
through qualifiers.
But when they did have success against that composition, that's what they did, right?
Exactly.
And I think kind of once they got into the regular season, they kind of got teams figured them out, and they were kind of seen to be kind of a one-trick team. But Taeyang makes another quick return trip to the fountain, not by his choice.
Poor guy's just getting destroyed here. They have the exhaust and flash up. He flashes the wind wall before he throws a stun card, ensuring that it gets landed. Taeyang he's getting bullied this game. He's doing very well farming, but he has been 4-man or 3-man ganked twice now. Then they have a repeat gank right here. But Metaphor is trying to focus on Panda, which is very smart. Get that Rise going, and it should be able to compensate for Taeyang being killed.
With Devmaster J getting caught on out, Cards going out, gets knocked up by Mo Money, and Freakers picks up the kill this time as Vicious and Delicious picking up kills all over the map.
Freakers is huge right now, 3-0-3 already, in just 13 minutes almost into the game.
3-0-3.
This is, I think, the dream for him. And despite all the pressure that Metaphor has been able to put top lane, Poof the Sheep still being relevant via his ulti. The Cannon Barrage coming out in the mid lane like 3 times in a row and picking kills up for himself too, on top of the assists that he's gaining. And still up in CS. He's still got the range. He can still farm pretty well with the barrels. So despite getting camped a little bit in the top lane by Metaphor, he's doing fine for himself.
Well, and that's where we were saying that global presence is really going to help him. He can really get kills and assists anywhere on the map at any time. So as long as that ulti's up, as long as he's farming to his best ability, he doesn't have to play aggressive in that lane. And as the first turret goes down for that side of Vicious and Delicious, they're just going to keep pushing that gold lead. And like we said, they're very good at snowballing.
Actually, the second turret going down there for, the mid lane turret went down after the second time Taeyang died.
Dropping that like mad, that mid lane going very much in the favor of
Dropping that
Delicious.
turret like third period French.
You're not a fan of the third period French class in high school?
Nah, man, my teacher wasn't the best.
Rough times.
You're one of the best. We won't mention any names. We don't want to sabotage any careers while we're...
People have vibes, so you can't just turn down.
Poof the Sheep still just trying to do his best here in the top lane. One lane that we haven't really noticed that much, except for that one excellent gank in the bot lane, is the bot lane. Pulsus and Devmaster J just farming, constantly pushing the wave in the tower, and not doing too much, but being like them usual selves.
I think if when you're looking at the matchups here, the bot lane is the one that's really, it's just kind of a wash. Like both bot lanes, they're good, they're strong players, but they're not really something, especially with Pulsus on Ashe and Durka on, Pulsus on Sivir and Durka on Ashe. It's not really something that's gonna snowball the game either way, maybe. Whereas the mid lane and the top lane, I think, really is where these teams are gonna find their advantages. So maybe that's perhaps why this bot lane has just kind of been on an island.
Yeah, Ashe and Sivir both being the more utility-based AD carries, but Ashe, since her rework, Ashe actually doing a ton of damage. More so, the arrow, huge engage tool though, but Metaphor going over onto Freakers here.
Ooh, but Tafrika is getting very low now, but Mo Money is there. Roman again, as Metaphor gets knocked up and he will go down. Glacial Fissure comes out and catches Mo Money on the tail end of it, and Tafrika's the one low down. Cannon Barrage comes out as well, but Tafrika's isn't going to go down, and Bakery Boy comes in with that teleport, and now this is going to be bad for Thunderducks as Panda goes down. Devmaster J is going to be next. He gets knocked up by Mo Money, who will finally pick up the kill, and it's the double kill for Bakery Boy as Pulsus, he's just going to want to back off here as his friends are, they're dead.
That was such an awkward fight. At first it looked like Metaphor had got a pick in the jungle there, ulting over the wall, and somehow Tafrika's actually keep himself alive. He did use that ulti.
Not even sure how that happened.
Had that ulti maybe to keep himself alive, but then it looks like they're going to turn around with a knock-up Yasuo ulti, but then once again Vicious and Delicious just collapsing and taking over that team fight.
Yeah, I was really lucky that Tafrika didn't have to use that Lamb's Spite on himself when Metaphor ulted over the wall there, saving it, knowing that he had the backup to take out Metaphor before he could get low enough to die. But then the flash in by Panda, getting really aggressive. But Tafrika was quick on the draw with his ultimate, able to save himself and heal himself up, and then flash out of that one and survive after all is said and done.
Yeah, as we actually see Thunderducks, they do pick up the dragon there. But I was thinking, it doesn't bode well for Thunderducks that in an unexpected team fight like that they were not able to win the team fight with their team fight comp.
They're supposed to be the better team fight 5v5. If all goes well though, Metaphor going down extremely early in that fight, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think Panda was actually in that fight there, was he?
He died.
In.
He died.
But then, I mean, you look at Taeyang though, he only has that static shift Merc Trance. He doesn't have a lot of the offensive stats. He has the wave clear, he has the attack speed, the crit, but there's really no damage coming through. The Steel Tempest does rely a lot on crit, but you need the AD to follow with it. So maybe once he starts getting that Triforce Infinity Edge, he'll start doing a lot of damage. But this is a very good start for Vicious and Delicious. They are up about 7k gold, but there's a lot of gold on the map still for Thunderducks. They have not taken any turrets there. So still very much they can close that gap a bit and keep this a very close game.
I'm not sure they're going to be able to find those that gold on the map extremely quickly here. They're looking to slow things down, I think. They're on the defensive now, on their heels a little bit. They're going to try and not get picked up from this global pressure anymore. It's going to be a huge vision game starting right now. They're going to want to ward up extremely well, make sure no one gets caught out, because they need to give their champions a bit of a time to scale up here. Panda needs a little bit of time for his tier to do some work and get that upgraded here. The Rod of Ages needs literally 10 minutes to stack up, so you need at least to wait that long before you're getting any kind of stronger against this team that's already 406 in the jungle on Kindred and 305 in the mid lane.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know, with this second tier turret in the mid lane probably going to go down here, I don't know if they have that kind of time. This turret's not going to go down yet, but they might look for an engage here on Poof the Sheep. As Glacial Fissure comes out from Devmaster J, knockups coming out all over the place. Unbreakable Shield, Cannon Barrage coming out. They're going in. Durka getting very low. Tafrika's low as well, but will he be able to save himself as Metaphor picks up the first kill? And this is going to be a good fight here, showing their team fighting prowess. Is the Thunderducks picking up three kills for nothing there?
That was actually so good. The Glacial Fissure did catch out 3 members of the team, but Mo Money knocking up Taeyang, not letting him get in there. But then he didn't have any CC to lock down Metaphor as he goes for the ulti. Ult in, and they had another knockup Prex from Taeyang. Knocks him up, gets the ulti in, and they actually were able to knock Kindred out of that ult, and a majority of Thunderducks stayed in there, keeping themselves alive with that heal while they took down the rest of Vicious and Delicious, who weren't actually in the Kindred ult.
Yeah, a big point to that fight as well is the fact that Vicious and Delicious was so split there. Poof the Sheep was sitting trying to do barrel poke over the wall and stuff, and that's where they got initiated on. Mo Money and Poof the Sheep forced to go on one side of the terrain while the other 3 members left by themselves to fend for themselves in the middle of a crow storm, just getting battered and beaten by the other 5 members who were able to focus on those 3.
Yeah, a lot of farm, a lot of gold there. I love that GP style. But I mean, that was very good. That's gonna pull them a little closer. I mean, we already looked. They picked up that turret. They got a couple of kills, and the goldie's already cut down to only 4k gold. So I mean, slowly pulling themselves together. If they can keep finding opportunities like that, it's gonna be great. But it's unfortunate that Mo Money really has to decide: is it worth trying to stop Taeyang from getting that last breath off, or is he gonna save his CC from stopping Metaphor and ulting in? because he didn't have the headbutt or the pulverize to stop it. Flashes in, gets a ton of them caught in that Crow Storm. Once Panda's able to lock someone down in there as well, they're going to be able to pick off targets one by one, and if they're not close enough to Defreakers, he's not going to be able to keep him alive.
I think they got to stop Metaphor here. There's no question about it. I don't think the Crow Storm does a lot. And last breath, it depends on who you knock up.
Panda knew Defreakers was there, but damage going back onto Panda now and forced to flash over the wall, and he will go down as just gets out-dueled there, and he was the one looking for the engage.
Yeah, getting that damage over time here, but there's a TP in by Bakery Boy, but not wanting any of that.
No, says,
Well,
three of them there.
He pumped his ulti because he thought he was going to be able to pick up that kill on Panda, but he goes down to the red buff. But that's actually, I'm actually not 100% sure if Panda knew Defreakers was in there. They had the pink ward covering the bush. I don't know if he was throwing a Q, maybe just in case someone was in there, but threw it in the wrong spot, and that's not a cooldown you want to waste.
And Defreakers now finding out Devmaster J, throwing out a lot of damage. He's about half health. Unbreakable shield and flash comes up, but the cannon barrage goes down, and it will finish off the kill. That global presence from Poof the Sheep, just proving that this global team comp is doing well for them. But now Metaphor there, looking to go in. Defreaker is getting very low, and throws up the ulti, and the Ash Arrow does not land on anyone, but Defreakers and Poof the Sheep very low. They're not done yet, though. Money actually picks up the first kill onto Metaphor, but Taeyang looking to finish off Defreakers, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, as he's getting very low here. He does finish it off, but Bakery Boy and Money, they're going to finish off Taeyang here. He throws out a Whirlwind, throws out the Windwell, gets the double knock up there from Money. He's not down yet, and there he goes as Bakery Boy and Money now. Panda might be able to get something here. Did get locked up, but looks like they will just walk away.
That was so unfortunate. Taeyang actually cutting back. He throws the Whirlwind out, but he only catches Money, so
Yeah.
Bakery Boy sidestepping that, able to put down a lot of damage, locking him up. They do pick up that kill, but Durka not even there in the time. They're going to be able to put down some pressure on the turret, but they are going to try and chase him down here.
Devmaster J body blocking pulses a little bit here.
The exhaust goes out onto Durka. Concussive blows looking to go. The boomerang's coming out as well. Concussive blows stacks does pop, and Durka does go down with the kill going over to Pulses. Really kind of the first action from the bot lane we've seen.
Yeah, no way that Durka's going to get out of that one. The on the hunt pop by Pulsis there, and Spell Shield used to stop the volley. Not getting slowed was Pulsis, so just able to catch him here.
And the
Concussive blows
yeah.
as well, right, stunning him up. And exhaust used by Devmaster as well. So just finding at least a little bit something here. The one bright spot seems to be in this bot lane now, Pulsis. 202.
I was going to say, Taeyang getting camped quite a bit in this game, and Panda also getting early ganked there, but Pulsis really, after his performance yesterday, you got to think this guy's shown that he can carry the team, so maybe he's going to be able to pull it out with his team, bring him to that late game, get that late game Yasuo, that late game Rise, and just start chasing people down with that on the hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Thunderdog's looking towards the Dragon here. It will be their second in the game if they're able to pick this one up.
Yeah, but a couple members of Vicious and Delicious are nearby. They will look to finish it off before Defreakers can get there. And it looks like they will, and it looks like they should be able to just get out of this unscathed.
Yeah, Vicious and Delicious not interested in grouping up as 5 right now. They've seen like firsthand what happens when they do that. And Metaphor able to get the jump on them, and the Dragon Pit's a perfect little clove for Metaphor to get in there and do tons of damage.
When they ended up picking up a turret out in the top lane, actually, Poof the Sheep actually had his TP available. They have ulti available as well, so they could have TP'd to the turret if they wanted to try and get there, but couldn't give it up. They just really wanted to concede that global objective, get a turret, so they're still making gold without getting that buff.
Yeah, definitely. Durka now in this bot lane just looking to push this one out.
And the Ash Arrow, but it does get spell shielded there by Pulsis.
That's a great spell shield.
That was
you actually didn't even see it get cast. It was just kind of went on, and they immediately absorbed the damage. But we do see that Whirlwind does go up, but he doesn't have vision quite of Poof to be able to follow in with that last breath.
Thunderducks looking to start this Baron, but the Cannon Barrage is going down. But it's at about half health already. Poof is there. Metaphor actually very low. Poof the Sheep, he maybe could throw cards coming out from Baker Boy as well. It looks like they will back off.
Doing a lot of damage though with those barrels. They're
And
going to keep
Taeyang
going.
will be the one to go down, as actually it's a triple kill here for Poof the Sheep. And now we see other members of Vicious and Delicious here pushing the bot lane. The inhib turret goes down, and they're now looking for the inhibitor. And the Baron throws there by Thunderducks. Maybe just a kind of a questionable call, if you ask me.
Yeah, those actually barrels coming out from Poof the Sheep doing a ton of damage, and I mean that's exactly why we've seen Poof the Sheep have that gangplank permanently banned.
Definitely, and you know what? Just overzealous there, trying to do too much. They thought that they could take that Baron, but 2 people were able to stop them. Bakery Boy and Poof the Sheep just totally taking them out, and that is going to be the inhibitor tower.
And that's really the advantage of that gangplank Poof the Sheep with the global ulti. Just like, you want to start Baron? Well, you're going to have to take this damage if you want it.
And Metaphor actually dropping extremely low at the start there. It was a great Sonya's absorbing something, like dodging that one barrel, but the rest of the barrels absolutely devastated the rest of the team. And it's really hard to be able to try and find a team fight when you're getting poked out by those barrels. It just does so much damage. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Metaphor just trying to clear some vision for himself. Maybe they're able to get another Crow Storm off. That can swing things back in their favor a little bit after that slight throw with them.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But they're still definitely behind here. In kills, we're looking at a 17-9 kill lead for Vicious and Delicious. They're up about 8k in gold. My math is correct. They're up at 4 towers now, just after that one being picked up by Panda in the bot lane. And they're actually the Dragon lead going over to Thunderducks, but at 2-1. That's not that big of a deal, as they're getting the engage here onto Durka. TP coming in from Panda, looking for the damage. Cannon Barrage goes down to the triple knockup by Mo Money, but Durka's getting hit very low here by Panda, and Metaphor's coming around on the other side. And who's going to go down first? It will be Durka to go down first. The double kill picked up by Panda takes out to Freakers, and that's going to be huge here for Thunderducks, and they might look to see if they can pick anyone else up. They're pretty low here.
That barrel damage is absurd. He landed 1 barrel and it almost took him down below, did majority of half of their health. It was a great pickup there, and it's really showing. This is why Panda's rise is so deadly. He flanks the team there to Freakers using the ulti, trying to keep Durka alive, but the rest of the team collapses. They pick up that double kill for him. Very scary this late game rise, as we do see that Triforce almost being built by Taeyang. Once he gets that Infinity Edge, he's also going to be a huge threat.
Yeah, a lot of resources used just to try to catch out Durka there, but having that QSS this early, second item, he has nothing else. He has the Infinity Edge and the Vamp Scepter, but going straight for that that QSS there, and able to save him for the most part. But like you said, the Panda flank was absolutely huge there. I thought they were going to be able to get out of that one after wasting a lot of cooldowns from the Thunderducks, but it was not to be, as that's Rise, ladies and gentlemen. I think Xanator has pointed out a couple times now that champion is disgusting.
The Sheep catching up Metaphors, he's trying to get Gromp, and Gromp doing damage there as well, as Poof picks up the kill, and Poof says, I'm going to take Gromp as well while I'm here.
The real MVP here, but unfortunately, the crazy thing is that they are able to pick these fights. Mo Money actually having that huge knockup. I think that teammate could have gone a lot worse if Mo Money didn't get that quadruple lockup there, but they have that open inhibitor with Baron still available. They should be able to set up a trap at Dragon. If they get any kills, immediately rush that inhibitor, grab Baron, start pushing out their objectives. They have they are able to take them in those team fights, as we've seen.
But now Tafreaka's actually getting caught out on the top lane. The TP is coming in here from Poof the Sheep, as Tafreaka's prolongs his life a little bit, and the shutdown coming out, and actually the TP from Poof the Sheep comes in and turns that right around.
And that Kindred ulted, that's exactly what we were talking about. It's just so game-changing. You can be losing a team fight, you pop that, have your teammate come in. Yeah, of course you can't kill the enemy, but you can even the
as
fight.
Pulse is just going to go down here in his own base, and Metaphor gets knocked back.
What a play by Mo Money there. The ward over the wall, saw Metaphor ulting over, and as soon as he did, I think he had that input buffering. We saw that video from Riot. He was learning a few things, because as soon as Metaphor came over the wall, that headbutt was instantaneous. Definitely had that one queued up before Metaphor even came in the frame there. Durka just getting a couple kills on himself now. We're talking about Pulses having definitely an impressive stat line, but you know what? Durka and Mo Money doing work.
Mo Money just being a huge factor. He's been roaming all games, setting up these ganks, and once again we have Panda going on.
Panda might be getting caught out again here, but Devmaster J is there to help for the peel, as Durka is pretty low, so he's probably just going to want to get out there. But Metaphor might catch out Mo Money now with Dev and Panda there as well. Looks like Mo Money will get locked up here, and he will go down, but that's not that big of a deal, I suppose. In the scheme of things, how many did they get? Did they get both top and bot inhib there?
Yes.
Okay,
they did.
so probably worth.
Definitely worth. Getting that double inhibitor is a huge advantage going forward here. But Bakery Boy going to try and do a ton of damage onto Baron here, as they do have to Freakers, who's going to be able to shred that as well.
It's at about half health, but looks like they will back off as Taeyang showed up, and now Thunderducks actually, they take the Dragon while Vicious and Delicious was attempting for that Baron, putting them at number 3, and if Vicious and Delicious isn't careful, 2 more, that could be aspect of the Dragon if they're not careful.
Yeah, their win condition isn't Dragon at all, so they're definitely going towards the more global scheme of things, opening up the map. 2 inhibitors now, that's going to free up future Dragons. So
Right,
they're kind
fair
of
enough.
they're going for the long game here, and they're saying we can give up all these early Dragons, but we're going to take your base instead. And you can't do both. You know, if they're going to leave to go get this 4th and 5th Dragon by Thunderducks, then that leaves the base unprotected. A couple inhibitors could just keep going down, and before you know it, at the end of the game.
It's like you said, it is that 3rd dragon, but they have the 2 inhibitors down. They go push the 3rd inhibitors. They can give up dragons to get other objectives, and once they knock those out, it's going to be a forced hand by Thunderducks. They're going to have to make the go all in or just lose your base. So, gonna have to see what they keep opting for if they're going to be able to pick those dragons. But I mean, the longer this goes, the more items that Thunderducks are going to be able to pick up. Are they going to be able to have that incredible tower defense to pull themselves back in? But
They don't have too great of wave clear pulses as their only option there, but if you know if
have you ever heard of a champion called Yasuo before?
he's a very short range person there, but he could get caught out pretty easily. He can't just step up and wave clear right in front of Vicious.
Oh, I
Delicious.
know, but you can build up that static shit pretty quickly, and then you just grab the steel tempest on that first minion, and that clears an entire wave. Hey, well,
It'll be tough. They don't have the best, but they do have the Sivir. Sivir does excellent wave clear.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're any trouble with that. The Siege, I wouldn't say it's too
Their
favorable
siege
to Delicious,
is,
right?
siege
It's
is
pretty
not
lame,
very
yeah.
good for Thunderducks. I mean, Sivir's really their only ranged champion. Rise does have a little bit of range.
But they're not going to look to siege anytime soon.
Oh,
They're just
no.
looking
No.
to keep this map divided, and it very much is. The only turrets left are the middle, and if they just keep sending members on either side, just like now, Bakery Boy on the bot side of the map, and now they're threatening Baron here.
Starting Baron again here.
And it's like I said, if you get Kindred, you get those stacks. Sitting at, is that 7 stacks on Kindred? You can actually just shred it. You have that Blade of the Rune King. That gives you that 8%.
Poof the Sheep uses a cannon barrage there to zone off the members of Thunderducks, and they will pick up the Baron, as Devmaster J now might just get caught out, but he will back out, and that's a free Baron there for Vicious and Delicious.
Yeah, before we know it, Poof the Sheep finds himself with a 9-3 and 6 stat line.
Wow.
That it went 0 to 100 pretty quickly there, I think in the last 7 minutes, picking all those kills up for himself after getting absolutely camped in the early game.
Well, like we said, they put a lot of pressure on Poof, but he wasn't dying. He was staying safe. He was farming it out. But Metaphor, they got the 1 kill on him. He played safe for the rest of the time. He's kept up in farm. He's used his ultis pretty clutch. He's picked up a lot of kills, a lot of assists that way. And now that he's got that IE Triforce Youmuu's, his barrels are doing a ton of damage.
Now they're looking to go in and onto the Freakers, maybe just catching him out in the wrong spot here. Gets exhausted. Taeyang there dashes forward. The ulti comes out, but I don't know if it's going to be him. Might be able to pick up Pulsus before he goes down. And Tafrika's still not down yet. There he goes, and did actually kill Pulsus before he went down. But the rest of the members of Vicious and Delicious, they're looking to push in the mid lane here. They did get that 2nd tier turret. They've got the Baron empowered minions. And looks like they will back off now. But Tafrika's just getting caught out there, but was able to take down Pulsus on his way out.
Thunderducks using so many resources just to catch out single members
Yeah.
of the enemy team here, and right there not paying off as they lose Pulses
Yeah.
in the process, and that's a lot of their wave clear like we just stated.
Like we were saying, yeah. And Bakery Boy now, locking up Panda.
I definitely thought he was going to be a lot more of a threat, but he's just not able to get the damage down. They're zoning them so well with those barrels. That actually double range from Kindred and to Freakers is like having 280 carries on your side. You have him split push, and I mean that's the thing about that Kindred. Use that ulti; it allows you to 2v1 and have a really excellent split push.
Panda TP's in with the home guards, but the Asher coming from Durka locks up. But Durka now getting a lot of damage on him. Throws out the volley. And Bakery Boy just looking to chase Pulsus in the base. They're doing those cards doing a lot of damage. Little one-on-one action here. And actually does force Pulsus to flash.
That
and
was-
he does pick up the kill anyways.
That was Dirty the Lit
Stack
thing.
deck. The stack deck was also on him too.
Oh, wait.
But Bakery Boy pops his Zonias a little in too deep here. And Metaphor will pick up the kill.
But he gets the tower.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. And that's exactly what they're going for. They're okay trading themselves for an objective. Yeah, you can take my life for that objective. Easy. Just keep going for that. And it's really working. They're slowly dwindling down the base of Thunderducks. Not that there's much left to take, but putting the pressure in other spots. Now that all 3 inhibitors are up, it's easy for them to split push. Gangplank can split push. You can have Tafrika split push, Bakery, but it's just absurd. Pretty much everyone on their team is available to split push because of the power of that Kindred. You can duel 2v1. You've got the ulti from Gangplank. You've got the TP available. You've got the Destiny. Thunderducks are in a very, very bad position right now.
Yeah, very bad. Their Nexus is open if they can take down the outside inhibitors here, and I think they're just going to do more of the same. You see all the members spreading across the map like a fan, and it's definitely going to suffocate Thunderducks here. Vicious and Delicious just spreading out, spreading Thunderducks thin, and just not allowing them to group as 5, which is what their composition really succeeds in.
And they've actually been chasing Durka a lot with that Panda, but man, he's got so many ways. He QSS. Actually, I was very surprised. He must have waited till that Q went out, QSS as soon as that Q was done, so he couldn't immediately snare him again. Going to be another target that if Panda can't lock down, he's going to be kind of useless. He can't get near him. He tried to use the home guards there. The arrow ended up landing onto Metaphor, but that's slow coming up from the Ash arrow as well, taking that home guards off. So blown flash, didn't even get a kill out of it. So they're really trying to force these team fights, but it's really hurting them by using these summoner spells and getting nothing for it.
They're just using so much just to get single members is basically their problem. They're not finding anything, so they're trying to overcommit just to get something.
Yeah,
and it's not working out.
And even when they have been, they usually have one of their members end up going down as well. They blow everything, and then someone dies too on top of... and then for only 1 kill on the side of Vicious and Delicious, which, as we've said, isn't that big of a deal for them right now. They can deal with that.
And we actually haven't seen really Thunderducks able to find an optimal team fight since for the last 10, 11 minutes that they won there. Yeah, and that's what their comp's based around. And if you're not able to find team fights to go after, what are you really going to find for your win condition?
They're going to be ulting top here. I thought they were going to go for the flank there. They had the angle. I think they could have definitely flanked those 2 members, but those 2 members are very, very strong. They could probably 2v4 within the Lambs or Spite and do tons of damage, but Bakery Boy and Panda are going to duke out on the top lane, or the bot lane rather.
Ash arrow going over. I don't know if it's going to land or not, but
does catch on to Metaphor there.
The sheep, they're onto the one in here. Pulsus, there's going to be nothing he can do as the top inhibitor goes down. Now they might look to go to that bot one.
Durka actually picking off Metaphor with that Ash arrow, keeping him from going on to Bakery Boy. It allows him to use his ulti just to regroup with his teammate, but not a super long cooldown, so he's going to be able to use it, keep himself alive, and he almost got that bottom inhibitor, I suppose, but opened up the map a little bit. They committed 2 people bot lane, opened up the inhibitor top. They picked that up, that mid turret, extremely low, so Thunderducks eventually going to have to pull the gun here and just try and give it their all to try and defend it.
Yeah, the desperation is going to turn into just that, desperation. They got to do something right now. If they let this go any longer, they let the super minion wave push in the top lane, their Nexus is absolutely exposed.
That is so gross.
Yeah, and they're already at Devmaster J and Taeyang's in about 3/4 health, and Vicious and Delicious walking on the base, Mo Money tanking the turret. And that might go down right away here. But Metaphor going in on 3 members. Glacial Fissure splits the uprights, I think, there. And Tafreaker is very low. Pulls out the ult. Bakery Boy does pick up the inhibitor in the bot lane. Cannon Barrage going down there in the mid lane. And just trades back and forth. And Bakery Boy, looking for the back door here. But Metaphor and Taeyang, they see him. Panda there as well. Bakery Boy pops his on. There's 4 members there now, and they get all 4 of them in onto Bakery Boy, and he goes down.
Very well done by Thunderducks. We were just talking. They need to pull that trigger, and they go for it. They see their opportunity. Metaphor has to be always ready, and he's ready. He sees his spot. He goes for it. That's 3 members down now, but that is another inhibitor at least for their troubles. Bakery Boy in the bot side, just trading his life once again. Open up the map even more, kind of resetting that, giving a timer.
Super minions.
They got to defend against 2 waves of super minions and this super strong Vicious and Delicious squad.
Yeah. But Metaphor actually looking to solo the dragon here, making it number 4. Hawkshot is there, so Durka does know what's going on. But I don't know if they're going to get their Taeyang going to come help finish it off, and they will pick this up for nothing, putting them at number 4.
Yeah, and they're getting an opportunity here after taking down 3 members just to take their one thing that they have going for them, and that's the dragon. They really haven't had the chance to get out to that dragon pit. And Vicious and Delicious really haven't been caring about Dragon that much. They've just been playing the siege game, playing the split push pressure game, and just giving up that dragon. Now, I'm not sure that Thunderducks are going to find another opportunity to get the 5th dragon unless they can find a miracle kind of 5v5 fight.
And maybe... Dirk actually taking a lot of damage from Baron there. Your girl, Desaninator.
She's letting them know she ain't happy. And she doesn't like to get taken down.
Gotta treat her nice.
But I mean, they're going to be able to just crush this. Ash doing so much damage as well as the Freakers with those stacks. Just a ton of % health coming out and just shredding it. That's going to go down. That's going to be very scary as 2 inhibitors already down. Open Nexus. Big Free Boy not even there. He's still putting a lot of pressure on that bot lane. Yeah. So this is do or die time once again. They just got to look for the right engage. I don't think they can afford to lose that middle inhibitor. They have to be careful because if Bakery Boy isn't part of that fight or Poof, they can just easily walk in and backdoor the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to, put all their pieces on so many places. I'm not sure they can do this one. They're really going to have to find a super good engage, and it's going to be a big misplay if Vicious and Delicious groups up as more than 3.
Taeyang finally getting that item threshold though. He's got the trinity of items. He's got the 100% crit. Should be able to crush it out, but it might be too little, too late. We're sitting at 39 minutes.
Unfortunately, he is the Trinity, but Poof the Sheep and Tafreakers have like the quad, whatever. The quad Trinity, or the getting up to 5, Trinity. Almost full build here. I think it's too little, too late.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought Panda was going to be a huge factor with that rise, but he hasn't really been able to find a target to lock down and kill. You've got the GP, he's got QSS, he's got Banshee's Veil, and he's got that orange. Durka has that QSS. They haven't picked up a Makiros. They have the Banner of Command though to help them split push, but Panda's going to try and go into Freakers here, but he's doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, turns it right around and Panda backs off.
He's got a lot of armor pen there, and Shred with that Yo moves as well as that Blade of the Rune King. 2% health on each auto with his passive stacks as well. This champion is one of those that the later it goes, I guess. It also just shreds those healthy tanks.
Glacial Fissure splits the uprights again, and just this 1-3-1 split push. And there's Bakery Boy onto the Nexus here. The 1-3-1 split push is too much here for Thunderducks. Pops his Zonias. Will the rest of the members be able to walk in? As Bakery Boy does go down, Tafreakers, Low Money are there, but they gotta be careful here.
Yesterday?
They gotta be careful.
Oh,
Dirk is there. Dirk is there as well, and they do finally finish off that Nexus with game 1 going over to Vicious and Delicious.
Wow, they just blitzkrieged that Nexus at the end.
Yeah.
Just totally going for it, sacrificing their body. That could have went very poorly,
That could have been
We saw it yesterday. Same thing. They tried to blitzkrieg that Nexus, and Fellowship of the Nerds was not having any of it.
Exactly. So, but this time it works out for them. Vicious and Delicious take down Thunderducks game 1 in a pretty convincing fashion. I think they played to their competition very well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just at the end there, with the team fighting composition that Thunderducks had, there's just nothing they could do when Vicious and Delicious won't group, because they don't have to. They were just doing that 1-3-1 split push, and it was just too much to handle. Thunderducks was spread too thin, and Vicious and Delicious, it wasn't really instantaneous, but they just kind of slowly, methodically, they took out that first inhib, and I think maybe it might have respawned once or twice, but they took out a couple other ones. They got the Nexus turrets down, and they just kind of methodically, but very, meticulously took down the Thunderducks base.
Yeah, just not giving Thunderducks a chance to play to their strength. And, Vicious and Delicious is a very smart team, so not surprised at all, really, that this one went the way it did.
Just really well played, yeah. I mean, they prioritized the right things. Metaphor spent so much time farming to Freakers. He wasn't worried about that. He
ban Kindred, is all I'm saying.
He was a monster. Like I was saying yesterday to Ponox, we haven't seen much success on it coming over from DXI Edge, but so far he's the only one to play it. Now that we have
you won't see
on it.
You won't see that champion for the rest of the series. I'm just going to say that right now. There's no way you let that through. I don't think that Thunderduck's going to play around it.
But the problem is, then are they going to take away the Gangplank? Because let's be real, Poof did a ton of work on that Gangplank.
Yeah, true. Well, you got to ban something, and I think you got to pick your poison. Unfortunately, I don't think you want to go against Kindred. Honestly, such a strong champion. I think a little bit broken, maybe.
But then do you give to Freakers the Zac?
But Thunderducks may be able to play around Zac, right?
True.
Zac's long range engage, kind of like other champions that they know how to play themselves. So
fair enough.
And so maybe they can play around that more than they can play around the Kindred, who can just two-shot people wherever she is, and save her whole team and other things like that.
Save herself. That ulti. There's a couple team fights there where she's prolonged her life long enough to just I think it was the one where Poof teleported up with a Gangplank and turned it into a double kill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going forward, I think picks and bans are definitely going to have to be changed for next game.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a quick break here, folks. We're going to play a couple ads for you. But don't go anywhere, as we've got Game 2 headed up right away between Thunderducks and Vicious and Delicious. We'll be right back.